the janitor who healed the billionaire's broken family. The Sterling twins had not spoken in 47 days. Not to their nannies, not to their therapists, not to the 12 tutors their mother had hired and watched walk out the door one after another. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of small moments to change lives, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness True Stories. Also, tell us in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? Lily and Luna Sterling, age 9, had built a wall around themselves so thick that even the most qualified child psychologists in the country had given up trying to climb it. Their father had died in a plane crash 8 months ago, and something inside them had gone quiet. The moment they heard the news, a silence so complete and so heavy that it seemed to press down on everyone who entered their world. Victoria Sterling, CEO of Sterling Industries, a woman who had negotiated billion-dollar contracts and faced down hostile takeovers without blinking, sat in her study every night and wept, because all the money in the world could not bring back the light in her daughter's eyes. Marcus Webb arrived at Sterling Tower on a Tuesday morning with a mop, a bucket, and a heart that carried its own kind of grief. He was 34 years old, soft-spoken, with calloused hands and tired eyes that had seen too much too soon. His wife had passed 2 years ago from cancer, leaving him to raise his 7-year-old son, Daniel, alone. Daniel was on the autism spectrum, and Marcus had spent years learning the language of silence, understanding that some people did not speak their pain out loud, but carried it in their bodies, in their stillness, in the way they avoided certain rooms and certain memories. He had learned that love sometimes meant sitting quietly beside someone without asking them to be anything other than what they were. He cleaned floors for a living because it paid for Daniel's therapy and their small apartment, and the little things that kept hope alive. He did not consider himself special. He was just a man who had learned the hard way how to be present. He first saw the twins on a Wednesday afternoon, tucked into a storage room on the 14th floor, sitting on the floor behind boxes of paper and old equipment. He almost backed away. Instead, something in him recognized what he was looking at. 2 children wrapped in grief, so familiar it stopped him in his tracks. He did not speak. He did not ask what was wrong. He simply set down his mop, folded himself onto the floor a few feet away from them, and sat there in the quiet. Lily looked at him with suspicious eyes. Luna stared at the floor. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small sketch pad, something he always carried for Daniel, and began drawing without a word. A tree, a bird, a small boy flying a kite. After 20 minutes, he stood, smiled gently at them, and walked out without saying anything at all. He came back the next day, and the day after that. On the 5th day, Luna picked up the sketch pad he had left behind and drew a sun. It was the first thing she had done, by her own choice, in over a month. On the 7th day, Lily spoke one word, bird, pointing at a drawing on the page. Marcus nodded, as though it was the most natural thing in the world, because to him it was. He told them about Daniel. He told them how Daniel used to go silent too when the world got too loud, and how sometimes the most important thing in the universe was having someone sit with you who did not need you to be okay. He told them it was allowed to not be okay. He told them grief was not a problem to be solved. It was love with nowhere to go, and it deserved to be treated gently. Lily cried for the first time since her father's funeral. Marcus handed her a tissue and did not look away. Victoria found out what was happening from one of the security cameras she reviewed during a late night in the office. She watched a janitor sit with her daughters and do what 12 experts had failed to do, but simply be there. She was so overwhelmed she had to leave the room. She called her assistant and asked who he was. When she found out, she arranged to meet him, expecting to feel grateful and perhaps a little embarrassed. What she did not expect was to meet someone who looked at her the same way. He looked at her daughters with steady, unhurried compassion and said, "They're going to be all right. They just needed someone to stop trying to fix them." He was fired 3 weeks later. A board member with old grudges had dug up a record from Marcus's past, a minor legal matter from a desperate moment years ago, long since resolved, and used it to push for his termination, framing it as a liability issue. Victoria received the paperwork on a Monday morning. By Monday afternoon, she had reversed the decision in front of the entire board, promoted Marcus to Director of Family Wellness Programs, a position she created on the spot, and publicly stated that any board member who moved to override her would be facing a different kind of liability. The room went silent. She had faced down hostile takeovers before. This felt more important than all of them. Marcus stood in his new office 2 weeks later, a little disbelieving, a little overwhelmed, holding a drawing Lily and Luna had made for him. 2 girls and a man and a boy, all holding hands. Under a crayon sun, Daniel sat beside him eating a sandwich, legs swinging from a chair too tall for him, completely unbothered by the view from the 42nd floor. Marcus looked at the drawing for a long time. He thought about his wife, and how she used to say that the people who change your life are never the ones you expect. He thought she was right. He folded the drawing carefully and put it in his pocket, close to his heart, where he kept the things that mattered most. If this story moved you, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Kindness True Stories, where we bring you real feeling stories of compassion, healing, and the quiet heroes who change lives without ever seeking the spotlight. Your support helps these stories reach someone who might need them today.